Welcome to part 2 of the Way Too Deep into Diablo 2 video. If you didn't watch the last video, we set up Sonic and Ponic, Sorceress and Hammerdin bots to level our characters up. Today we're going to take those leveled characters and then move them over to base Kolbot so we can do things like standard Baal runs, follow bots, and eventually even the Ubers. So if you didn't watch that first video, you might want to go check it out and make sure you're caught up to speed. Otherwise, this is going to be another long one, so I'll leave the chapter markers and stuff for you below.
So as of last night, all of our sorceress bots, our Sonic bots, they were all in like the mid 80s from a level perspective. And Sonic kind of stops once you get to Hell and you kill Mephisto. It definitely doesn't kill Diablo or do anything past that. So once you've kind of gotten to Hell Mephisto, it's just doing magic find runs over and over again, looking for better Sorc gear, which is fine for a Sorc, but the point of my Sorc bots are to find the runes and everything necessary to build better hammer bots. So I move all of the Sonic bots, once they hit 85 or so, I move all of the Sonic bots over to standard Kolbot. What you're seeing on the left here is base Kolbot, on the right is Sonic. So all 7 of my Sonic profiles I recreated in base Kolbot. And if you take a look at one of these guys, the profile setup is a lot like what we did with Sonic. The only difference here is that these fields actually matter, whereas they kind of didn't in Sonic. Sonic read everything from that configuration file that we edited early on. Here it reads a lot of this data from the D2BS profile. So profile name, profile account, I think those are still obvious. The password, using Diablo for everything. The character name, obviously that needs to change with each bot. Game info, once again, you can change the prefix for the game names. Doesn't really matter for us because we're not doing anything special with them. Difficulty is going to be Hell. The realm, as before, the realm doesn't really matter because all realms connect to a private server, and you can't even select your D to CS from the realm. So you could type it in there if you wanted, but it's going to change it back for you. The mode's going to be BattleNet. The game path you'll need to set to the default. Parameters don't change. The entry script, Kolbot comes with a bunch of different ones. We used D2Bot map for our map pack. We used D2Bot lead for standard, bots that are going to run bosses, like what we're going to do now. No changes to key list, no changes to schedule. It's up to you whether you want to make it visible or not, and you can set the location of the window here. So we did that for all 7 of those Sonic bots. So all 7 from Sonic have been moved over. We no longer use Sonic. Now in base Kolbot, so that's D2Bot with Kolbot Masters where we're at now, you have to set up the profiles. So we go into Kolbot libs config, and you'll see these SorcBot profiles. I created these. Kolbot comes with these base configs for each class. Then it identifies the specific configuration by looking for the profile name in the config file. So we have sorceress.sorcbot 1 through 7, and again these are all manually created. And the config files are complex, so I'm going to go through it kind of quickly, doing a comparison with the base file. So I took the base sorceress file, created the character-based one, and these are the changes that I made. So you got base on the left, custom on the right. Base has this user add-on set to true. This is left as true. It doesn't actually do anything. The boss won't execute anything. So we set that to false. The first big section that you want to pay attention to are the boss area scripts. So this tells it what to go kill. So we're skipping a bunch of stuff. We're going to go kill Countess. We're going to go kill Endariel in Act 1. Endariel can drop a bunch of stuff, and the Countess is good about dropping runes, so we keep both those on. In Act 2, we're going to kill Summoner. That's a very fast, very easy boss to kill. Duriel is right after him. That one takes a little, can take a little bit to get to. because you do have to navigate the tomb, but it's not that long. Mephisto, we'll do him. We could do Isual. Isual's usually not too bad, but since these bots are kind of low level, so their level's okay. They're level 85, but their gear is still kind of like the resist heavy calculated gear from Sonic. They're not really geared up yet. So until they get better gear, we're just going to stop at Mephisto, and then we'll add in Isual maybe later. And then we're not doing anything in Act 5 Hell. In fact, these bots, since Sonic doesn't do anything past, we couldn't try to do anything in Act 5. They don't know how to get there yet because we haven't killed Diablo. Next, this is like some leader-follower configuration that we'll play with later. We'll come back to all that. And then there's a bunch of accessory scripts, like WP Getter will go get all the waypoints. There's stuff for crafting and gambling bots that are dedicated to just crafting and gambling. Chestmania will just go open a bunch of high chest dense areas. Clear any area will literally go just clear every monster in an area. But we don't need to do any of that. Baal Assistant, we'll play around with Baal Bots later. Merkwatch, so I do set Merkwatch to true for at least these early bots. Eventually a sorceress will generate mana very, very quickly, but until then it's a good idea to keep that Merc with Insight around. So we turn that on, so basically anytime your Merc dies, the bot will go to town and resurrect them immediately. Here you can also tell it when to start drinking, or this is to go to town. So once we're below 50, the bottle go to town and heal itself. Doesn't do anything with mana. Doesn't do anything on statuses. So if you're poisoned or whatever, it doesn't really care until your health gets low. Here's the potion setup. So it'll use a healing potion if your life is under 75. It'll use a rejuve potion if your life is under 40. Magic potion if your mana is under 30. These HP and MP buffers, these are interesting. It'll by default the bot will fill your belt. So if you have manas and healings in your belt, it'll fill the 3 or 4 levels, whatever you have in your belt. But you can also set a buffer, and that's the number of additional potions to keep in your inventory. And generally, you don't need don't want to fill up too much. If you're fighting, like the Ancients are kind of where you may want some additional buffer because you can't leave that battle. But for the most part, if you plow through all of the potions in your belt, then you can just go to town and get more. So you don't need to buffer usually too much. But rejuves, since you can't buy rejuves, I do ask it to buffer a couple of rejuves just to have them. Chicken settings. Chicken, once the bot gets to a certain level, it's better for the bot to just abort the game, to Alt F4 out, instead of potentially dying and losing experience and gold and stuff like that. So this is the amount of health in which it will just leave the game, just Alt F4 and get out. But it won't do that for mana, it won't do that for your Merc. It won't go to town or anything like that if you just have a life or magic deficiency. Sometimes it's a good idea to use this town chicken, but we're going to let it go as it is for now. Inventory setup. Each digit in this kind of grid here represents a unique space in your inventory. So what we're saying here is that the first 2 columns are zeros. So the first 2 columns of your inventory are locked. The bot won't touch anything in them. So if you put charms there, if you put items there, whatever you put in those first 2 columns, the bot will never touch, and then everything else, it's its own space to deal with. Stash gold. Once you hit this amount of gold, it will in your personal inventory. It'll go and deposit to the stash. This sets up what potions should be in what spaces in your belt. So the first column will be health potions. For me, the next 2 columns, by default, it only has 1 column of mana potions, but we go through quite a bit of mana until these characters are kind of fully leveled up and are regenerating a ton of mana on their own. So I go with 1 health, 2 manas, and then 1 rejuve. And this also tells it how many to buy. I don't actually know that this works because it seems like regardless of what I have this set to, if it can buy the health or mana potions, it'll buy them. But regardless, this is telling it to, if you have 3 or less health potions, buy until you have more than 3. So it'll do that for health, mana, but you can't buy rejuve, so that one's set to 0. The Pickit files just tells it what to pick up. I have a unique Colton strict file that's a modified version of Colton that I will leave in the download section, so we're going to use that instead of the built-in ones. Bunch of muling stuff we don't care about, bunch of logging stuff. You can have cane ID stuff, we don't worry about that. Some logging stuff. We don't want to do cube repairs, we don't have anything that's that expensive to repair, at least not yet. Gambling. So once you hit a certain amount of gold, you can have it start gambling, and here are the items that it would gamble. There's no reason not to have this on. I do up the limit. I like my bots to keep a lot of gold, so if they do encounter issues, then they'll have plenty of gold to repair and revive their merc. So once you hit 2 million gold, which I believe is gold max for stash, it'll gamble down to 1.5 million. So you'll always have a ton of gold, but and once you exceed 2 million, that gold just ends up on the ground, so you might as well gamble it. We're not going to do any cubing stuff yet. We can have the bot automatically cube up runes, and even down here there's rune words. You make the various rune words. Our goal here is to build Enigmas and eventually things like infinities as quickly as possible. So this is a joint effort between 7 bots. If we were only running one bot, then it may be a better idea to leave these on, since one bot will be collecting all the runes. But here we're going to be combining the findings from all of the bots together. So leaving that off because we'll do it manually. Some chat stuff, some public mode stuff. This determines whether it accepts or sends out invites. Min game time and max game time. Min game time, if you recycled games too quickly, then Warden or Battle.net would notice that, hey, you're playing a lot of this game and you're doing it real fast, so maybe something's up, and you get either a temp ban or even potentially a longer ban. We don't have that problem. We don't have any of that enabled. So 30 seconds, the only reason we're even using 30 seconds is because if you're recycling faster than 30 seconds, then the bot's probably broke. So we don't want to necessarily hammer our poor little VM if things are really messed up. And then 10 minutes, if the script hasn't completed in 10 minutes, then it's probably stuck somewhere and it's probably not doing the right thing. So we give it 10 minutes, and if it exceeds that, it'll just Alt F4 out. We don't do anything with teleswitch. Open chests, this is if it's teleporting past a chest, it'll open it. It doesn't hurt, and you can turn it on if you want. Mini shop bot, if it sees something in an merchant's inventory that looks like it might match your picks, it'll buy that item, and if it is part of the pick, then it'll keep it. Otherwise, it'll trash it and sell it back. Packet shopping. So this is an interesting one. When you see packet stuff in these configuration files, what that means is that the bot is kind of skipping the whole client-side video game loop, the whole update the UI and then update the world and update the characters, that stuff. It's skipping all that, and it's going straight to Battle.net. So it's saying this packet shopping will say, hey, I want to shop at Farah, and then it'll intercept the shop inventory as it comes back, and then it'll send buy and sell packet requests to the server without ever updating the client. So you don't actually see the merchant inventory open and your inventory open. It'll do all that behind the scenes. This is a faster way to shop, but it also looks mysterious because you don't actually see anything happening. All you see is your bot standing there, next to a merchant and doing something. So we're going to leave it off for now, just so we can see what the bot's doing. But when you want to optimize for efficiency later, you probably want to turn that on. Town check. Go to town if you're out of portals. I prefer to do that instead of waiting for one of the chicken scenarios or one of the town chicken scenarios above. Don't care about logging experience. We're not going to have ping problems. It's often a good idea to add some shrines in here. What you do, there's a SDK folder in Kolbot. And these are kind of all of the various libraries of settings that you may need. So if we look in shrines, every shrine has a numeric ID. So if you add a comma delimited list of shrines into this section, it'll stop at those shrines and activate them if it passes them. It doesn't go out of its way too much, but it will stop at them. We may set that up later, but it's fine for now. Magic Find Switch percent. If you're killing a boss and he gets to a certain level of low health, it will switch to your secondary weapons, assuming that they have a higher Magic Find value. So when the boss actually dies, it'll die with higher Magic Find. We don't deal with primary slot. Speed up stuff. So this is actually kind of cheating a little bit. You can override the faster cast rate, the hit recovery, the block recovery, and attack speed values. If you set these all to 255, it's going to kind of skip past your gear ratings and just do this stuff as fast as possible. No reason not to have it on our private server, except for it is kind of cheating. So if you want the pure experience and you actually want your faster cast rate in particular to matter, turn these off. But if you just want to bot as quickly as possible, turn them all on. So we left them on. Packet casting is a lot like packet shopping in that the bot will send cast notifications directly to the server instead of going through the game loop. Again, this looks weird because your bot is just standing there. You don't see it casting Blizzard or Glacial Spike or anything like that. You just see enemies melting away. It's funny because if you have a second character in the same game, the second character will see everything happening because it is happening on the server. But the character doing the casting just looks like it's standing. So it looks weird. It's more efficient. So maybe later we'll turn it on, but for now we're going to leave it off just so we can actually see what's going on. And then waypoint menu, again, in theory, the bot doesn't need to open the menus. It can just send packets for waypoint navigation, but we'd like to see what's going on, so we're going to leave it on. We're not going to worry about anti-hostile config. We're not going to worry about declone at the moment. We're not going to skip, leave anything skipped. Attack configuration. So this tells the bot what skills to use when it's fighting stuff. So pre-attack, when it encounters a mob, it'll first cast the pre-attack skill. We don't have one assigned here because we don't have anything to do before pre-attack. The bot has built-in shielding and battle orders and stuff like that, so you don't have to set that here. It'll automatically figure out if you need to cast what is it, Frost Shield, whatever the shielding thing is for a sorceress. It'll automatically do that. You don't need to do it. If you have the skill, it figures it out. You do have to tell it what attack skills to use. So 59, again, this is from the SDK. So if you look in skills, 59 is Blizzard. So this first attack skill, primary skill to bosses, is going to be Blizzard. And then there's a primary untimed skill to bosses, 55. That is Glacial Spike. So this first one's a time skill. Since you can't just spam Blizzard, you set that as the primary skill, and then since you can spam Glacial Spikes, you can cast that over and over very quickly. That goes in the untimed skill. So it's going to cast Blizzard while Blizzard's falling on them. It will spam out Glacial Spikes, and it'll do that to the bosses. This is for non-boss enemies. We're going to use the exact same configuration. So it's going to cast a Blizzard, then a bunch of Glacial Spikes, and then this is the immunes. If you're using like a meteor, like a multi-element Sork, you could have it switch to a different element for the immunes. But we don't have anything that's not cold, so those are -1s. Low mana, if you had a character that had kind of melee as a backup, you could theoretically put some of that stuff in here. If it had cheaper but still effective attack skills, you could do that as well. But we're not going to worry about that. Once we're low on mana, we're going to drink a potion, we're going to go to town and get more potions. You can set up custom attacks for specific monsters, not going to worry about that. Dodging, if a monster gets too close to you, your bot will teleport away. Since we're using ranged attacks, we can kind of kite monsters if we have to. It's off by default. I like to keep it on for my sorceresses. Eventually they're going to get kind of so strong that things aren't going to live long enough to get close to you on most Magic Find runs. So turning that off might end up being more efficient later. But since these guys aren't fully geared up, it's good to keep some distance. So this turns that feature on. This tells it how far to move, and they're unique units for the game, so you just have to play around with that value. This tells it to start. Don't wait for your health to drop to a certain level before you start. If you're, even at full health, it'll start dodging. Boss priority tells the bot to kill boss characters before mobs. Again, if you're going for pure efficiency and you're only killing bosses, then that might be better to leave on true. But for our sort, big AoE attacks, probably want to make sure the mobs are kind of dealt with before you don't need to target just the boss here. Clear type is what monsters to kill when it's clearing a level, and there's a little key. Oops, a little key over on the side here. So 0xF will skip normal monsters, so it'll kill everything higher than a normal. 7 will kill champions and bosses and up, and 0 is all. So if you wanted to clear an entire level, you'd set that to 0, but we're going to leave it as it is for now. Telestomp. If your character encounters something that's immune to your attacks, it'll teleport right on top of it and let your merc smack it. I think Telestomp and Dodge might be very incompatible, so you'd end up teleporting right on top of them and then teleporting away immediately, which just confuses your bot or your merc even more. So I think you want to keep these things set to opposites, or both off. We're not going to worry about wareforming. Static, so this tells the bot to cast static on an enemy until it reaches 60 health or lower. We're not going to do any auto-skilling. We're not going to do any auto-statting. We're not going to do any auto-building. Those are all the features in Sonic that let it, equip the correct items, to, assign your attribute points, to assign your skills. We'll do all that manually as we're doing muling, so we're going to leave that off. And then a setting that's completely missing from the OG configuration is this low gold setting. And what this means is that since this is set to 1,000,000, if your bot has less than 1,000,000 gold, either in its inventory or in its stash, it will pick up every single item it finds and go sell it. So regardless of what's in your Pickit, it will go grab everything and sell it off. So that's what the configuration for our Colton, our Kolbot based bots look like. If we take a look at that Colton strict nip file, so in the Pickit Colton strict, this is my custom nip, and I'll leave a link to that below. We did a couple things differently. So, the Sonic bot auto equips and decides what it keeps based on that formula that's very heavy into resists. It doesn't really take into account stacking resists and that kind of stuff. So it's great for leveling a sorceress bot, and eventually that bot would reach level 99. Eventually it would find the entire tile set. So if your goal was just to create a sorceress bot, let it keep going. Let it build your level 99 sorc bot. Our goal here is to build Hammerdins, not to build sorceresses. So this custom bot, this is mostly the default Colton nip with a bunch of stuff disabled, a bunch of stuff that I don't care about disabled. So, like the bots were picking up a bunch of like Angelics, it was picking up a bunch of like Barbarian, or I guess Druid helms, a bunch of crap that we didn't want. So most of that's turned off. Down at the bottom here, we did tell it to keep Kira's, to keep Mage Fists. In fact, we probably, our sorc bots will use that as well, but we can probably turn that off before long. We've already turned off the Wizard Spikes. We already have a couple of those and don't need to worry about those. Keep Mara's. Don't keep Andy's or Nature. Andy's and Nature's Peace are off for now. Keep the whole Tal Rasha set until all of our sorcs have a full set, and we can start turning off individual elements as they get them all. But the real reason that we switched here, the real thing that we wanted to do, is start keeping some gems. So standard level gems are used, most standard gems are used for runing up or upgrading runes. And once you get to the mid-level runes, most of those are using standard level gems. A couple do use flawless, but what we're saying here is that each bot will keep one standard gem of each color. And we have 7 bots running. So at any given time, assuming we haven't consumed them for some reason, we'll have 7 of these standard gems just laying around. So it's going to be easy to just go grab, like if we needed a perfect topaz, or a flawless topaz I should say, we can just go grab 3 of them from 3 of the various spots and queue them up. If you muled these things off, if we actually set up muling, then it would grab the 1 of each and then hand it to the mule and then go, I'll grab 1 more, and then your mule would eventually fill up with gems. So keeping these at 1 is enough to ensure that we have enough standard gems without filling up a mule. And then runes. So we keep a couple of low-level runes for some of the other rune words that we like to build, but really we're looking for this ith because that's part of the Enigma. And then we're keeping everything, we're keeping a Mal, and then we're keeping everything from Is to Zod. So basically everything from Mal to Zod, it's keeping. And we're going to cube all those up until we have all the necessary runes. So I'm going to load up the 3 map hacks like we did previously. What? Oh, crap. Create a low-level game. So again, last night, here's kind of where we left the runes. They found a bunch of lows, a couple of sirs. So I think one of them we had actually found before. An ohm, a couple of X's, a bunch of goals, a couple mals, and an ist. So from here, 2 sirs make a burr, so we've already would have 1 burr. 2 lows make a sir, so here's 2 more sirs, so here's a second burr. And then we don't have quite enough in here to create 2 burrs make the jaw, so we'd have the 1 jaw already, and then we need 1 more burr. So hopefully we found enough to create that last burr. What we want to do now is see if we have enough runes to get us to Enigma. We have a mage plate. Mage plate's kind of crappy. The point is that we want to get to an Enigma as quickly as possible. So what I do here, we go grab a Diablo 2 rune list. And then we start at Mal, so we don't have anything below a Mal. And then this will just tell us what gem aligns to which rune. Alright, so now we should be able to do some runes. So that looks like about as far as we can get right now. Just shy of an Enigma. We are, I guess, a handful of lows away from getting the Enigma. So we're going to let everybody run for now, and then by tonight we should be able to build that Enigma. So we're going to stop all these guys, restart the 7 Sork bots, restart the 1 Hammer bot, and we'll check again in the evening. No. Okay, yeah. All right, we're going to do it in the mage plate. So Jaw, Ith, Burr. And there we have an Enigma. And as mentioned, you know, throwing it on the ground is fine. If you have auto mule set up, it'll throw it on the ground. But with something that valuable, I don't mind trading it instead of throwing it and picking it up. So we're going to do that. And then also, as I mentioned, the bot will take off and discard stuff. So I'm going to put the Enigma in his inventory and let him pick it up and put it on instead of me trying to make that decision for him and, you know, potentially him dropping it on the ground. So next time he runs, he should go to, you know, next time he goes to his chest, he'll pick up that Enigma and put it on. For now, I'm going to stop all the map hacks. I'm going to watch him just the beginning of the next one to make sure he uses the Enigma and doesn't do anything stupid. But then we'll start up. Then we'll start up the other bots. And here's the sequence list. Here is low gold. So there, here recognizes that he doesn't have enough gold to try the Baal runs again. So he's going to head out and go do the gold find ones. And he is using his Enigma, so good to go there. Now, since we already have enough to build a second Enigma, we might as well get our second Ponic running. So I'm going to clone him. Now, if you recall, I set up all 7 profiles when I first set up the first bot. So this guy should be good to just hit go. So tonight we're going to do some fun stuff. First thing I'm going to do is mule everything off and get all the bots cleared out. And then after that we'll do some cool follower stuff and some reconfiguration of the Sork bots to do some you know, to help with the Baal runs. This will be cool. But first, stop everything and we'll mule.
So all these Sork bots, they're in hell. They're in hell difficulty. They have definitely not completed hell. They haven't done anything in Act 5, and they haven't done Diablo yet. So for these guys to start helping with Baal runs, they first need to finish, their own game of Baal. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the Hammer Bot, the Hammerdin, basically as a merc to follow these guys around and do all the damage to get them through to to the end of the game. So we're going to use map hack because we want to control it. We want it to be the driver, and we just want them to follow. So one of the map hack accounts, map hack 1, we're going to log in as our Sork bot, as our Sonic sorceress, and then we're going to assign our first Hammerdin as a follower to follow us around. So they have not moved the Hammerdin over to D2bot yet. So I'm going to create a new profile. And again, don't clone or anything. I guess cloning this part would be fine because you basically updated it. Update it all anyway. But when we get to the configs, don't just copy the Sork config, because the Paladin config has different options, slightly different options. It's not dramatically different, but it's a little bit different. So start off with the Paladin config. Don't start off with an already running sorceress. So now, since he's going to be a follower, there's a D2bot follow script. That's going to be his entry script. And then again, nothing with keys or schedules. We would like to see him. I am going to have him start at 0, 0. Okay. All right. So now he's going to be a follow bot, but you have to tell him what to do, what to follow. You're going to go into Kolbot master, D2BS, Kolbot. You see all the startup scripts. So D2bot follow is the one we're going to be using. So we're going to have Hammerbot 1 follow maphack 1. So whenever maphack 1 creates and joins a game, D2BS will know that Hammerbot 1 needs to join that same game. So that's the D2BS configurations. Now we need to go into the configuration. Oops, libs. And just like we had to create all these character-specific configurations for the sorceress, we'll have to do the same for the Paladin. And just like with the sorceress, we'll have to go field by field. So this is not a user add-on. We're going to leave everything as false down to this follower script right here. This is the thing that tells the bot to follow you like a mercenary. And I will add that if you have any of these other scripts set to true, it'll go do them. It'll go do them generally before the follower script executes. So if you accidentally forget and leave one of these set to true, like if you leave Endariel set to true, the bot will jump in and it'll go kill Endariel, and then it'll try to follow you around after that. So if you see your bot take off, you probably left something as true there. We're going to skip all the other ones, all the other bot features. Leave that same reduce buffer. This is something that we'll have to change, and we'll have to check this on the Sork later when she runs. So since he's going to be a follow bot, we'll let maphack invite him. If you set this to invite it and accept, as soon as he joins a game, he'll invite the Sork bot. So that's fine, but later on, when we're doing just Baal runs, if they're both set to invite and accept, they can get confused, especially if you have more than one follower. So it's best to have your true leader be the inviter, all the followers be accept only, and be done with it. So in this case, he's going to be just a follower, so we're going to set him to accept only. Now we need to set up the attack skills. So we got skills right here. Primary skills going to be hammers. So 112, and that's going to be for both bosses and normal. Primary aura is going to be concentration, so 113 for both. We will set up an immune. We want him to switch to a holy bolt if they're immune. And then something like prayer might be good to just keep him, to keep his health up while he's holy bolting people. Why not? Not going to worry about the low mana stuff. No customs. We'll leave all that. Here we do want to set up some of this stuff. We do have vigor. We do have charge. Doesn't really matter because we also, we have Enigma. We also have redemption. So to save some mana in life, after he's done killing a group of enemies, if he's below 50% of either, he'll switch to redemption and try to get his life and his mana back. So mana at 50 is fine. I'm going to bump up the life a little bit. So if he's under 70 life, he'll try to do redemption and get his life back. No auto scaling, no auto statting, no auto building, and just like the Sork, the one that they don't tell you about for some reason in the default configs. $1.5 million on the low gold, so he'll pick up everything if he's under 1.5 million gold. And I think that should be good. Alright, so now if we start both those profiles, and I'm going to move them, I'm going to move him up kind of to the top here. So I'm going to start my map pack 1, this will be my leader. Start Hammerbot 1, this is going to be my follower. Going to create a hell game because we're going to get her through the remaining quests. Oh, we don't want to do this yet. I have a customization that I recommend highly. I'll leave a link to it in the downloads. There's a change. Oops, no, that's still on my desktop. There's this follow clear script. It's in the follower.js, so this is the script that runs whenever the bot is following you around. This is the script that tells it what to do. So we have this follower.js file. We're going to find that in Kolbot and replace it. Because this adds a couple of commands that we're gonna want to utilize. All right, so back to here. We're gonna start up both these again, and we're gonna log in as a Sork bot. We're going to create a new hell game, and as you can see, the Hammerbot's automatically joining. Sometimes, okay, so this is, first of all, this is his first time running Colton, so he's probably trying to figure some stuff out right now and clearing up his inventory, that kind of stuff. So we're going to give him a second to get acclimated. God, he's using crap boot still. Yeah, he's fine. Although I'm not quite sure what he's hung up on doing. Leader not found. All right. Oh, I know. We missed one thing. Let's stop these guys again. One more configuration. We also have to modify the leader. Oh, here, it's got it open. There's a leader section in here. This tells you who to follow. We did not set that. So Sork bot 1 there. All right. So now we should have much success. Okay, yep, he even said leader found, so he's got me this time. All right, so if we look at our quest log, has not killed Hephasto or Diablo, so that'll be the first things we have to do. So we're going to head over to Hell. And then I think Cain will give us a soul stone. Yeah. And then I don't have River of Flame waypoint. So what you can do is you can take this bot, and we can take him over here. And so right now I can control him. I can run around, do all kinds of things. It's only when I tell him to come to me and start helping me does he actually kind of take over. But I want to take him out and feed the Sork the waypoint. So I'm going to press the pause button, and that actually pauses the script. So he won't actually do any of the stuff until I unpause him. And that should work 99% of the time. Once in a while, the script is in a special, like a certain area where it's not responding to keys, so the pause may not work every single time. Press it a couple more times, you'll get there. But right now he's paused, so I can go to River of Flame. I can open up a town portal. I can walk her through it and touch it. So now that we're both in River of Flame, I can unpause him, and he's going to follow my sorceress around. And then as enemies approach, he's going to go kick their butt. I don't have to do a darn thing. Now, of course, I can always help him out. There's nothing wrong with lending him a hand. And he stays pretty close to you. Just kind of like a merc would. And he doesn't attack in a super large range. So he'll kind of like a merc. You got to kind of walk up to somebody before he'll attack. And then he'll kind of clear out, whoever's close by and then come back to you. All right, so now there are a number of commands built into the follower script. So, you have all the stuff that's built into the map pack. So if I press 0 on the numpad, it'll take me to the Chaos Sanctuary. It'll take you to all these places if you press these number keys. And then there are commands built into the follower script as well. So as you can see, the bot is just sitting there kind of doing nothing because he doesn't know where I'm at. He's not following. He's just waiting for instructions. So I'm going to open a portal. And then if I type in 1, chat 1, he's going to come in and hang out with me. Now he's going to start following me around. Similarly, if I have a portal open nearby and I type 2, he's going to go back to town and just chill out. You can also type 3, and that'll tell him to go do his normal town things. He just did everything, so he's good to go now. But if you have a portal open and type 3, he'll go, sell off his gear, resurrect his merc, all that kind of stuff. Let's get him back down here. If you send him a P, he'll do picks, so he'll go pick up, whatever's laying around. Since he's in low gold, he'd pick, low gold mode, he'd pick up everything. But normally he'd only pick up according to this pick list. So that's the stuff that's built into follower. The stuff that's new, the stuff that I added, are a clear and a clear level script. So we're going to go down. And he's already been clearing quite a bit, so to get to where he stopped. All right. So here you can see there's enemies up ahead. I'm approaching them, I'm approaching them, I'm approaching them. I'm getting pretty darn close to them. They're attacking me. I got to get right up on them. And then he finally triggers and says, yeah, okay, I see what you're doing here. Let me take care of those guys for you. So you kind of got to get pretty snuggly with those guys before he'll take any action. Just like a regular merc. That's what a merc would do. So now he's taking care of those guys. We'll give him a second here. From here, he's not attacking those guys because they're kind of too far away. But if I type in clear, if I send him clear in chat, C in chat. Why isn't he doing it? There he goes. He'll clear in a large radius around you. Generally, it's kind of wherever you can see an X. May not be quite to that extent. That's, you know, he kind of ignored me the first time, and he's kind of ignoring those, so I might have to approach him just a little bit farther. But if your bot's not attacking enemies that you want him to attack, just send him to C, and he'll go do it. But you don't want to move too far from where you're at, because after he's done doing that clearing, he comes back to that spot. So if you've run away or something like that, then he's not going to be able to find you, and he's just going to stand there like an idiot for a while. The map hack will automatically feed you potions. So based on what you have in your config file, it will heal and use your mana potions for you, including ones that are in your inventory. So it's pretty handy to have around, you know, even if you're not doing follow bots, or even if you don't want the map hack, just to have it, you know, handle all of that busy work for you is kind of nice. All right, so now we just entered the Chaos Sanctuary. That's considered a whole separate level. So you know, the bot recognizes where you're at by levels. I can walk through and keep doing the same thing. Just walk up a little and, you know, hit C, or, you know, message C, and he'll go kill stuff for me. But there's a second addition to the script, and after he's done doing this, I'll show you what that is. All right. So now he's not doing anything, and, you know, again, walking through and clearing group by group is fine. But if we type clear level, or if we message clear level to him, he is going to clean out the entire Chaos Sanctuary. Don't move again. Yeah, same deals. He's going to go kill everything, and then he's going to come back to where he started. So if you move too far, he's going to come back, and he's not going to find you and just stand there like a moron. But you know, he's got it under control, man. He knows what he's doing. So all I got to do is stand here, let the bot do its thing. He'll clean up the entire, you know, every enemy in the Chaos Sanctuary, and then we'll go tap the seals when he's done. All right, and now he's back after clearing everything out. Now, I'll mention that once in a while he does miss an enemy or two, but 99.9% of everybody in this level is dead. So now all we have to do is walk up, touch some seals, and we'll be good. And I tell you what, I did notice that you know, we're now over in Kolbot, so he's not auto-equipping anymore. So I am going to have him go back to town for a second. And it looked like he could enable, he could grab that Haas. And then what else? Yeah, he's full, so I'm going to sell off everything. He can use that skiller too, so let's get him cleaned up. Yeah, now that he's no longer you know, an auto-equip and auto-build bot, we can adjust his inventory without fear. And he's down. And it doesn't look like he has anything important, so we go back to town. Tell him to come with us. There's nothing that we're going to do in Glacial Trail. We're just going to go straight to Crystalline Passage. So we're going to let it auto-navigate us. And then to Frozen River. And then here's where we're going to open up a portal. We have to party him. And then we're going to say, come join us. Alright. So now we're in the Frozen River. Here's where we're going to do the clear thing again. We're not going to have him clear the whole level because we don't need to kill everything. Now, there are often some immunes, and there are some tough guys in the Frozen River. So sometimes he has to work at it a little harder than some other areas. So we do want to kind of take it a little bit slower. Alright, so now we can free her. We'll have him wait in town since he doesn't have anything else to do for this. Such a waste of a town portal. She uses a town portal to get back. Couldn't you just left that open? Alright. And don't forget to go get your resistance scroll. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk up and trigger all these guys. And we're going to say clear level, and we're going to get out. And just let him do his thing. Alright, Pendle's dead. He's got some still resurrecting, that's fine. We're just going to run right past him, we're going to get into the halls and be done. There. Right, and he'll follow me. I don't really care. I'm going to tell him to go home for now. And then I'm going to let MapHack take me to the to Pendleskin, or to Nithalok. Alright, so now we're heading towards Nithalok. Gonna let him do his thing. So now, with him dead, we can head to the Ancients, and this is going to be another tricky one. So now we're at Ariat Summit, and here's the strategy. I'm going to open a portal. I'm going to have him come through. And actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm going to have stay out here because he's going to stock up on potions. So we're going to pause his script, so he's not going to do anything that we tell him not to, that we don't tell him to do specifically. And then he is going to stock up on Lots and lots and lots of potions. There's a pretty surefire sequence for beating the ancients pretty easily with a Hammerdin, but it does take quite a bit of mana, and you can take some hits. I probably won't need all of those life potions, but it doesn't hurt. All right. So now we're just going to leave the Sork there. Our bot is paused, so I can control them all I want, and she's just going to stay in the corner. We're going to go beat the ancients and leave her standing right there. And the way that it works to beat these guys is if you kind of walk in this pattern around the outside, they will keep chasing you. So every few steps, if they're not close, just walk a few steps, throw out a hammer, and then keep on walking. The bot will still keep feeding you health and mana potions as you need them, so you don't have to worry about that. But you just keep going in this loop. And if they're not close, do it a little slower. If they get close, do it a little faster. But they're going to keep walking through your field of hammers. They'll hit you once in a while, but you will wear them down and they will die. And this, if you check out the walking Hammerdin, the Ponic bot, this is the same pattern that he uses. So if the bot can do it, using just a preset coordinates and an attack pattern, then obviously it works for humans as well. So. And that was number 3. So just like that, ancients are all dead. Now for Baal runs, it's going to be just the opposite. The Hammer bot's going to be the leader. The Sork bot's going to be the follower. We're not going to use the map hacks at all because they're all both automated bots. So we need to edit both of these guys. So Hammer bot, he's going to be D2 bot lead. He's going to back to leader. Sork bot 1 is going to be D2 bot follow. Then we need to go into Hammer bot 1's configuration. He's currently set to a follower. So we're going to turn this off. And we want him to do Baal runs. So we're going to set Baal to true. I'm going to take note of this safe TP message. In fact, I'm going to copy it because I don't think I need to copy anything else before then. So safe TP exclamation point is what he says when the safe TP is up. Keep that in mind. So he's going to do Baal. You don't have to remove the leader text. If he's not set to follower, then it doesn't do anything. So it's fine to leave it in there. And I think everything else in him is probably okay. So we're going to save him. We're going to do the same for Sorkbot 1. She is going to make sure all of her stuff is off. And Dariel, I don't want to do Countess. False. Don't want to do Dariel. Don't want to do Summoner. Don't want to do Mephisto. I think that was the last one she had, but let's double check here. Great. She will need a leader, so he's going to be Hammerbot 1. Oh yeah, I did need to change one other thing here. His invite mode. So here he's going to be the inviter. So we're going to make him invite only. Whereas she is going to be the invitee. So she's only going to accept. The script that she's going to run is this Baal assistant. So we're going to turn this to true. Wait. She's not going to wait any more than 2 minutes for the portal to open. So if she doesn't see it in 2 minutes, she's going to quit. They have an option for her to go kill Nilithok real quick. Given where she's at, we don't want to turn that on yet. We do want her to help, so this determines whether they'll attack or not once they're in the shrine, in the throne room. We don't care about the shrines. wait for safe TP. So the bot is going to go down to the throne room. It's going to open a portal. Then it's going to clear the throne room. Then it's going to open another portal and say that the TP is safe. So all the initial enemies are dead. It can usually clear out those initial enemies pretty quickly. So if you wait for safe TP, you're not gonna, your Sork's not gonna contribute to clearing that initial set of enemies, but you're gonna have a higher live rate on your Sork. It might slow down the runs a little bit because she's not contributing to the death. So we're gonna leave it on initially, but we do have to change or add at least this safe TP message, because even though safe is part of safe TP, it looks for the full message text. So now, if she sees safe TP, she knows it's safe. She'll take the portal and do it. So wait for safe TP. We're not going to worry about any of these quits because she's not part of the unsafe part. We want her to go through and kill Baal, and that's about all we have to do there. All right, now we have to go into the D2 bot follow script, which I guess I don't have it open anymore. And before we had Maphack leading, Hammerbot 1 following. Now Hammerbot 1 is going to be leading, and Sorkbot 1 is going to be following. And I think I'm good, so I'm going to start up these two scripts and see what happens. I pasted in safe TP. All right. Let's try that one more time. And there's nothing to stop her. We can set her, if we set that safe TP thing off, she'll go down and help him through this. She'll give him a hand. But if she dies, then that second wave takes a little while. And those are a bunch of magic immunes. Yeah, so he got a bad roll here because he's stuck with a bunch of immunes and a bunch of lightning throwers. So this is a bad set of initial enemies for him. And she gave up waiting. Okay. So I tell you what, since he's struggling with those, let's change him. Let's not wait for the safe TP. Let's just go in and do it. Ah. And here come the Hammerdin immunes. All right. Cooperative Baal run number 1 complete. One of the things that you can configure on your server is the trigger for the Diablo Walks event, and by default it's set to standard regular old keys. So you sell enough regular keys to merchants, the server treats them as Stone of Jordans, and it triggers Diablo Walks. It also triggers them very quickly, maybe 6 or 8 of them, and he's going to walk. And the configuration for your bots to go fight Diablo clone is real simple. It's just this one highlighted line. You flip that to true, and your bot will go kill Diablo clone. Now when the walk event actually triggers, the bot will go to the Act 2 Summoner waypoint, then go back into the palace, because there's always a high-level enemy that converts to Diablo clone right outside of that portal. So we'll see that here. And what we're going to see is 2 bots. One bot is my standard Hammerdin. He's leveled up a bit, he's got decent gear, and my Smiter, who has a Last Wish and some Uber hunting gear. And just to compare and contrast how quickly a purpose-built Smiter beats Declone versus a general-purpose Hammerdin bot. Here we're looking at my Smite bot. He was raised on Ponic and then converted to a Smiter after the fact. And he's pretty uber at the moment. He's got a lot of good gear. So if we take a look, he's running a Last Wish, Kira's, Enigma, Rising Sun, Haas, Wartravs, Stone of Jordan, Arachnid Mesh, Wisp Protector, and Dracul's. The Last Wish is pretty amazing. For a bot. Now, if you were running Ubers by hand, most people would recommend Grief. You get better damage output. But Last Wish gives you kind of everything you need in one sword. Since we're running a bot that requires Enigma, you're stuck with that body armor, so you're not going to be able to wear some armor that gives you Fade, or maybe has some of the higher defenses and resists and stuff. So given the limitations on the bot, Last Wish is probably your best bet. You can build with Grief. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but it just makes everything a lot easier if you build them with Last Wish. But he's only running like base Kira's and a base Haas, haven't upgraded anything or gemmed or ruined anything yet. So from that perspective, he's kind of the lowest level of Uber gear. And then he does have a CTA on Switch. And then he's got a bunch of charms. Some are all res, some are specific res, some peak homes. He's got an Annihilus on him. So he's doing okay with charms. These aren't ideal, but it's okay. He's got enough resistance for the job. And as you can see, he's just waiting around town. And if you take a look at the other bots, and we'll bring up his thing as well. These Sork bots and even my my Hammer bots are all running key runs. So they're going to go kill the bosses that drop keys, and then they're going to join this game, farm them out to him, and that can take a little while. But you can see him talking, like the bot's talking back and forth about whether he needs keys, whether he needs rejuves, that kind of stuff. Now this configuration is very simple. This get keys is what you want to set on all the key retrieving bots. I also set it on the Smiter, and that means that when he creates the game, the farm game that everybody's going to join and drop their keys in, whenever he creates that game, he'll go through one run himself. Why not? You know, he's going to be sitting there for 15 minutes doing nothing. Might as well have him run the keys. And then for all of the key runners that aren't the Smite bot, I also have him running a couple of fast bosses, because there's a min-game time, and they can run just the key bosses in like 30 seconds or something like that. The Smiter is the only one that has Org Torch set to true. All the other ones have that as false, and they're just doing the keys in the farming. So make Torch, this means that he will actually assemble the keys, farm the organs, open the portal to Tristram. Wait for keys means that he's going to sit in his game waiting for other bots to join and drop their keys. He's going to leave that game open for 15 minutes. He has a Salvation aura, so when he's fighting Mephisto, he'll switch to Salvation. And he does have Last Wish, which will give him Fade. So he will go stand in a fire until he fades. A caveat of the Torch Runner is that you can only hold one torch at a time. So you can set up a torch mule that will only mule torches and Annihilus charms. And that's in this automule.js file. The mule profile is what you're going to set it up in the profile you're going to set up in D2BS. Account prefix, it'll create accounts with this mule T, and then I think it's a letter and a number after it. Password I'm using for everything, say using the same character prefix. Again, we're locked to a realm, so it doesn't matter. In expansion ladder, hardcore, those are all kind of self-explanatory. 8 characters per account. So once he reaches 8, it'll go to the next mule T suffix. Game names, and then this is where the character they are muling to. So that is the character that is waiting for the keys that will do the Uber runs. So that is how the mule is configured, and then it kind of just takes off from there. Yeah, he set up, all the basics are set up in D2BS just like any other character, and it kind of does everything for you. You don't need to create a character, it'll do all that for you. While you're watching this run, I'll add that I did hit some issues with the base Kolbot org torch script. The script seemed to assume that it knew the location of the various mini-Ubers, so it would open the portal, walk through the portal, teleport to a location, not find the Uber, and then just nope out, just quit the game. So what I did is that if he enters the portal and teleports to the location that he thinks the Uber is supposed to be at, but he's actually not there, he'll run a modified version of the clear level script looking for that Uber. So he'll teleport all over the level trying to find the Uber and kill him. So his success rate went from, maybe 20%, not that he was dying, he just couldn't find the Ubers, to now it's probably closer to 85% success killing those mini Ubers. And of course, the link to that updated script is below. So if you stuck with this video, congratulations. You just spent about 2.5 hours of your life learning how to not play a 20-year-old game. Now this is only the beginning. There's plenty of other cool stuff to do. We've only seen a Hammerdin, a Smiter, and a Blizzard Sork. And if you were paying attention, there was a little bit of a Lightning Sork in there as well. But there's plenty of other classes to play, and Kolbot supports all of them. Now you won't be able to level them automatically like the Sonic or the Ponic bots, but hey, that would be a cool adventure to try to build a bot to do that for you. Now, if you are interested in manipulating these bots or building a new bot or something like that, I'm happy to lend some advice and now if you are interested in building a new bot or a new script, now if you are interested in building a new bot or maybe a new angle on one of the existing scripts, I'm happy to help out. Feel free to reach out and give me a shout. Now I'm going to discourage anybody from trying any of this on real-life BattleNet. As I mentioned early in the video, I do feel that there is a symbiosis between what Blizzard is doing with BattleNet ladder resets and the services that these bots provide, but that doesn't mean that they aren't against the terms of service. It doesn't mean you won't get your account banned, and it doesn't mean you won't get a lot of flack from other players for ruining what they consider to be a pure experience. So stick to your private servers, invite your friends in if that's what you want to do, but be safe and play fair online. So if you like this video, all 2.5 hours of it, give me a thumbs up. If you liked my other videos, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.